The last class we discussed about how to prove the irrational numbers. Correct? We prove it. Root 2 is irrational, root 3 is irrational, root 5 is irrational. Then after we prove it, the combination of rational and irrational is also an irrational. Correct? The operation with the addition of rational and irrational, and multiplication of rational and irrational, division of rational and irrational, and subtraction of rational and irrational. A combination of rational number and irrational number also we prove it irrational. The next we discussing the last part of the chapter, that one is revisiting rational numbers and the decimal expansion. Okay, then the rational numbers is not the new idea. We discussed already the rational numbers, and we discussed already the properties of decimal expansion of rational numbers. Correct? Then we know that we have the two type of decimal expansion of rational numbers. Correct? What are they? First one is terminating decimal expansion. The second one is non-terminating recurring decimal expansion. Here we are discussing about the terminating decimal expansion of rational number, the property of the idea of terminating decimal expansion of rational numbers. Okay, so here I wrote already three examples. The first one is 0.5, second one is 0.04, and third one is 0.49. Then it's very clear these all are terminating decimal expansion of a rational number. Correct? So of a rational number, then they are possible to write as in the form of p by q. അല്ലേ എന്താണ് മക്കളെ? ഇതൊക്കെ റാഷണൽ നമ്പേഴ്സ്, ഇതൊക്കെ ടെർമിനേറ്റിംഗ് ഡെസിമൽ എക്സ്പാൻഷൻ ആണ്. അപ്പൊ ടെർമിനേറ്റിംഗ് ഡെസിമൽ എക്സ്പാൻഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഏതിന്റെ ഡെസിമൽ എക്സ്പാൻഷൻ ആണ്? റാഷണൽ നമ്പറിന്റെ ഡെസിമൽ എക്സ്പാൻഷൻ ആണ് എങ്കിൽ ഇതിനെയൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് ഏതിന്റെ ഫോമിലേക്ക് കൺവേർട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി പറ്റും? Form of p by q. Correct? Then how to we write? The terminating decimal expansion is very easy to convert in the form of p by q. How to? Then 0.5 is equal to, first we avoid the decimal point, correct? Then what do you get the number? 0.5. What is 0.5? 0.5 is same as 5. 5 by, then we know that the decimal expansion, how to convert in the form of fraction. Then the decimal expansions are the fractions with the denominator 10 or powers of 10, correct? So here all the decimal expansion is possible to convert in the form of fraction or p by q. How to? The denominator should be 10 or powers of 10, correct? Then here the decimal expansion, we put the decimal point after 1 point, so denominator contains how many zeros? 1 0. Then 5 by 10. Then here is equal to 0.04. Then how to write? Then we put in the decimal point, we avoid the decimal point, then what is the number? 0.04. 0.04 is same as 4 by denominator. How many zeros contain? The denominator contains the 2 0 because we put in the decimal point after 2 number. Then here 0.49. 0.49 is also 49 by 100. Correct? Then now we converted all the decimal expansion in the form of p by q. Correct? All the decimal expansion in the form of p by q. Next, we converting one more steps is equal to 5 by 10. The 5 by 10. 10 means 10 raised to 1 is the least power of 10. Correct? So how do we convert 100 as in the form of 10? The 100 is converted in the form of 10 is equal to 4 by 10 raised to 2. Correct? 100 is the power of 10, second power of 10. Correct? 10 raised to 2. Then 49 by 10 raised to 2. That means we convert all the denominators are in the form of power of 10. Correct? We convert all the denominator are in the form of power of 10. So next, we just factorizing 10, then we know that what are we get? We factorize 10, what are we get? We get 2, 5, 5, 1. So it's possible to write 10 as 2 into 5, correct? So we are writing here 5 by 2 into 5. Then is equal to 4 by 2 into 5 whole square, correct? 2 into 5 whole square. Then it's very clear here. The 4 is also possible to factorize. Correct? How do we write? Is very clear. 4 is possible to write as 2 square. Then 2 square by, then expand, how to get, is an exponential law. A into B whole raised to m is equal to A raised to m into B raised to m. So 2 square into 5 square. Here 49 is also possible to factorize. What do you get? 7 into 7. As like, how do you write this one? 10 square. 10 square is possible to write 2 square into 5 square. The same, we avoid one step, that much only. Then we got it, the factorization of denominator and numerator like this, correct? Then after, we cancelize. We cancel here the common factors in the numerator and denominator. Here is 5 is common, so we cancel. Then what is get remaining here? 1 by 2. Correct? 1 by 2. Then here, what is common here? 2 square is common. So we cancel 2 square. What do you get? 1 by 5 square. Here, there is no common factor in numerator and denominator. So we write like this: 49 by 2 square into 5 square, or 7 into 7 by 2 square into 5 square. Correct? So, what we got it here, we do the question like this. First we have a decimal expansion that we convert in the form of p by q. Then after, we factorize the numerator and the denominator. Correct? And finally we got it answer like this: 1 by 2, 1 by 5 square, 49 by 2 square into 5 square. Correct? Then did you feel any common factor here in the factorization after we converted the decimal form of decimal in the form of p by q? Then after we factorize the numerator and denominator, then you feel any idea here? These all are terminating decimal expansion. Am I right? മക്കൾ എന്താണ് ഈ ഡെസിമൽ എക്സ്പാൻഷൻ ഒക്കെ ടെർമിനേറ്റിംഗ് ഡെസിമൽ എക്സ്പാൻഷൻ ആണ്. സോ ഇസ് വി ഗെറ്റ് എ കോമൺ ഫാക്ടർ ഇൻ ദ ഫാക്ടറൈസേഷൻ ഓഫ് ദിസ് ഡിനോമിനേറ്റേഴ്സ്. ബിൽഡർ ഹിയർ. അപ്പോൾ മക്കൾ നോക്കുക, ഇവിടെ എല്ലാത്തിന്റെയും ഡിനോമിനേറ്ററിനെ കോമൺ ഫാക്ടറൈസേഷൻ ചെയ്ത സമയത്ത് is the factorization after we cancel the common factor, then is remaining something only. What are they? Here the denominator containing 2, here the denominator containing the power of 5, here the denominator containing the power of 2 and 5. Correct? That means in the case of a decimal expansion, the decimal expansion is terminating. Okay, in the case the rational number decimal expansion is terminating if we factorize the denominator of that rational number. If we factorize the denominator of the rational number, then we get only the denominator in the form of 2 or 5 or the combination of 2 and 5. Did you got it? We know that the case of rational number, we have the two type of decimal expansion. One is terminating, second one is non-terminating recurring. Okay, then if the rational number have the decimal expansion is terminating, okay, the decimal expansion is terminating, then how to identify? If we just factorize the denominator of the rational number, that time what do you get? You will get there only the term of 2, only the number 2 or 5 or the combination of 2 and 5. നമ്മൾ ഒരു റാഷണൽ നമ്പറിന്റെ ഡെസിമൽ എക്സ്പാൻഷൻ ടെർമിനേറ്റിംഗ് ആണെങ്കിൽ ആ റാഷണൽ നമ്പറിന്റെ ഡിനോമിനേറ്റർ ഫാക്ടറൈസ് ചെയ്താൽ at last the final stage after the cancellation of a common factor in numerator and denominator, അല്ലെ, ന്യൂമറേറ്ററിലും ഡിനോമിനേറ്ററിലും ഒക്കെയുള്ള കോമൺ ഫാക്ടർ ക്യാൻസൽ ചെയ്തതിന് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ at last we'll get the answer only, the denominator only in terms of, denominator ഏതിന്റെ ടേംസിൽ മാത്രമേ ഉണ്ടാവുള്ളൂ, ഒന്നിക്കിൽ 2ന്റെ ടേമിൽ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ 5ന്റെ ടേമിൽ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ 2ഉം 5ഉം കൂടെ ചേർന്ന ടേമിൽ. Okay, is it clear? If a rational number's decimal expansion is terminating, the factorization of denominator should be in the form of 2 or 5 or the combination of 2 and 5. Okay, so we generalize this idea like this. We generalize the idea like this. If the decimal expansion of a rational number is terminating, then the factorization of denominator must be in the form of 2 raised to n into 5 raised to m. What is the form? 2 raised to n into 5 raised to m. Okay, എന്താണ് മക്കളെ, ഒരു റാഷണൽ നമ്പറിന്റെ ഡെസിമൽ എക്സ്പാൻഷൻ ടെർമിനേറ്റിംഗ് ആണെങ്കിൽ അതിന്റെ ഡിനോമിനേറ്ററിന്റെ ഫാക്ടറൈസേഷൻ ഏത് ഫോമിലായിരിക്കും? ഇൻ ദ ഫോം ഓഫ് 2 raised to n, the power of 2 and power of 5. Power of 2 and power of 5 is a product of, the denominator should be in the form of the product of 2 power and 5 power, 2 raised to n into 5 raised to m. That time you have one confusion. Here we not have the power of 5. Here we not have the power of 2. Correct? So if where you get it the 2 only, where you get it the 5 only, that time we assume like this. We know that 1 by 2 is possible to write like this also. 1 by 2. That means the power of 2 is 1 into 5 raised to 0. 1 by 2 raised to 1 into 5 raised to 0. What is 5 raised to 0? We know that the exponential of a raised to 0 is equal to 1. A raised to 0 is equal to 1. Then 5 raised to 0 is equal to 1. That's 1 into 2. 1 into 2 raised to 1 is 2. That is 1 by 2. Okay. So here, how do we write? Here we not have the 2 term. The 2. So we write like this. 1 by 5 raised to 2 into 2 raised to 0. There is no 2 there. So as for getting this answer, the form, how do we write? 2 raised to 0. So 2 raised to 0 is equal to 1. Then 5 raised to 2 into 1 is 5 raised to 2. That is 1 by 5 raised to 2. Okay. So we generalize the idea. In the case of rational number, if the decimal expansion of rational number is terminating, if we factorize the denominator of that rational number, you will get the factor of denominator of the rational number only in the form of 2 raised to n into 5 raised to m. Okay, എന്താണ് മക്കളെ, ഇത്രേ ഉള്ളൂ. ഒരു റാഷണൽ നമ്പറിന്റെ ഡെസിമൽ എക്സ്പാൻഷൻ ടെർമിനേറ്റിംഗ് ആണെങ്കിൽ ആ റാഷണൽ നമ്പറിന്റെ ഡിനോമിനേറ്റർ ഫാക്ടറൈസ് ചെയ്താൽ എപ്പോഴും ഉള്ള ഫോം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ എന്തായിരിക്കും? 2 raised to n into 5 raised to m. അതിന്റെ ഡിനോമിനേറ്ററിന്റെ ഫാക്ടറൈസേഷൻ 2ന്റെ പവറും 5ന്റെ പവറും ചേർന്നുള്ള പ്രൊഡക്റ്റിന്റെ ഫോമിലായിരിക്കും. 2 raised to n into 5 raised to m എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഫോമിലായിരിക്കും. Okay, then one more idea. I just extend the idea one more. What is that? If we not have a term containing 2 or a number containing 2 or 5 there, what are you assuming? We are assuming there which one is not here, that power is 0. Here not have the 5, that means the 5 power is 0. Then 2 raised to 1 into 5 raised to 0. Here we not have the 2 number, the number 2. So what we are assuming? We have the 2 there. What is the power of 2? 2 power is 0. Okay, I think you got this idea. On the base of this idea, we write one note like this. The note is, let x is equal to p by q be a rational number such that the prime factorization of q is of the form 2 raised to n into 5 raised to m, where n and m are non-negative integers, then x has decimal expansion which terminates. Correct? That means P by Q is a rational number, and the prime factorization of denominator Q is in the form of 2 raised to n into 5 raised to m. Then what is the decimal form of x? The decimal form of x is terminating decimal form. That's the idea we discussed. So it's a note, okay, that x is equal to p by q be a rational number such that the prime factorization of q is of the form 2 raised to n into 5 raised to m, where n and m are non-negative integers. Then x has decimal expansion which terminates. X is equal to p by q എന്ന് പറയുന്ന റാഷണൽ നമ്പറിൽ അതിന്റെ ഡിനോമിനേറ്ററായ q ഫാക്ടറൈസ് ചെയ്താൽ അതിന്റെ പ്രൈം ഫാക്ടറൈസേഷന്റെ ഫോം കിട്ടുന്നത് 2 raised to n into 5 raised to m, the product of power of 2 and power of 5 എന്ന ഫോമിലാണെങ്കിൽ എന്ന് മാത്രമാണെങ്കിൽ ഡിനോമിനേറ്ററിന്റെ ഫാക്ടറൈസേഷനിൽ 2ന്റെ പവറും 5ന്റെ പവറും മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂവെങ്കിൽ ഡെസിമൽ എക്സ്പാൻഷൻ ഓഫ് എക്സ് ടെർമിനേറ്റിംഗ് ഡെസിമൽ എക്സ്പാൻഷൻ ആയിരിക്കും എന്നതാണ് ഈ പറഞ്ഞതിന്റെ ചുരുക്കം. ഓക്കെ, ഐ തിങ്ക് യു ഗോട്ട് ദിസ് ഐഡിയ. On the base of idea we doing the question like this. The question is, without actually performing the long division, state whether the following numbers decimal expansion is terminating or non-terminating recurrent. Okay, we'll learn it. How do we say this decimal expansion is terminating? It's very clear these are rational numbers, correct? Then we have the only two type of decimal expansion, terminating or non-terminating recurring. Then we know that how to analyze is a terminating decimal expansion. It's not terminating, then what is its meaning? Its meaning is a non-terminating recurring decimal form, correct? So first 15 by 1600. So for saying, I said the form of decimal expansion, first we factorize the denominator 1600, okay? Then 1600 factorize by 2 first. Then we know that 800, 2, 400, 2, 200, then again 200, again 250, again 225, again 5, 5, 5, 1. Correct. So is possible to write 1600 is equal to 15 by, how to factorize 1600? 1600 is equal to 2, how many 2? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2. Then 2 raised to 6 into 5 raised to 2. Correct? 5 raised to 2. Then now we got it, the denominator is only containing the terms 2 and 5. Correct? The denominator is the factor, is the product of prime factors 2 and 5. That means 2 raised to 6 into 5 raised to 2. So the factorization of denominator in the form of 2 raised to m into 5 raised to n, 2 raised to m into 5 raised to n. So it's very clear this decimal expansion is terminating. Correct? This decimal expansion is terminating. Okay, then what is the value of n here? 2 raised to n. 2 raised to n means the n is 6. What is 5 raised to m? M means 2. Okay, so what we write? The prime factorization of denominator in the form 2 raised to m into 5 raised to n. Therefore, the decimal expansion is terminating. Okay, the prime factorization factorization of denominator in the form 2 raised to m into 5 raised to n. Therefore, the decimal expansion is terminating. Clear? So, next 105 by 150. Then what is first? We factorize 150. Correct? We factorize 150. Then 150 factorize. That is the denominator. First 2, how many times? 15, 7 times. 1 is balanced. 10, 5 times. Correct? Then again, next one is 3 is possible. Then 3. 2 times. 1 is balanced. 15, 5 times. Again 5, 5, 5, 1. Okay. So, then how to write? Then 105 by 150 is equal to how to write? 105 by 5 square into or 2 into 3 into 5 square. Correct? 2 into 3 into 5 square. Now, is very clear the denominator, the prime factorization of denominator contain the number 3 extra there, correct? Is not in the form of 2 raised to m into 5 raised to n, but is additional there. The prime factorization of 150 contain the 3, the prime number 3. If we get it like this, we needed only for this like the prime factorization of denominator contain only in the form of 2 or 5 or the combination of 2 and 5. അല്ലേ എന്താണ് നമ്മളെ വേണ്ടത്? നമുക്ക് ഉണ്ടാവേണ്ടത് ടെർമിനേറ്റിംഗ് ആണെന്ന് പറയാൻ വേണ്ടി പറ്റണമെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് ഉണ്ടാവേണ്ടത് ഒന്നിക്കൽ ഡിനോമിനേറ്ററിൽ 2ന്റെ ടേം മാത്രമേ ഉണ്ടാവാൻ വേണ്ടി പാടുള്ളൂ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ 5 മാത്രമേ ഉണ്ടാവാൻ വേണ്ടി പാടുള്ളൂ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ 2ഉം 5ഉം മാത്രം രണ്ടും കൂടെ ഉണ്ടാവാം. Is contain any other prime number in the denominator is not possible to say is a terminating decimal expansion. Correct? So, if you got it like this, one extra prime number in the denominator, you just factorize the numerator also. എന്താണ് നമുക്ക് ഇവിടെ ഈ ഡിനോമിനേറ്ററിൽ 2ഉം 5ഉം അല്ലാത്ത പ്രൈം ഫാക്ടേഴ്സ് വന്നാൽ നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യണം? അതിന്റെ ന്യൂമറേറ്ററിനെ കൂടി ജസ്റ്റ് ഒന്ന് ഫാക്ടറൈസ് ചെയ്യാം. Then 105. The 105 is possible to write factorized by 3. 3 കൊണ്ട് factorize ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി പറ്റുമോ നോക്കിയാൽ മതി. കാരണം is possible to cancel, then is clear. Okay. If you factorize by 3, we check how many times? 10, 3 times. 15, 5 times. Then again 3 is possible? No. 5, 7, 7, 1. Okay. The next step we write 3 into 5 into 7 by 2 into 3 into 5 square. Then after the factorization of the denominator, we got it 3 into 5 into 7. Now it's very clear 3 is common in numerator and denominator. So it's possible to cancel. Then what you got it now? Now we got it 5 into 7 by 2 into 5 square. Correct? Now the denominator in the form of the prime factorization of denominator in the form of 2 raised to m into 5 raised to n. You just write after this must be needed the sentence. Okay, what is that? The prime factorization of denominator in the form 2 raised to m into 5 raised to n. Therefore, the decimal expansion is terminating. Okay, therefore the decimal expansion is terminating. Add the sentence is like the prime factorization of denominator in the form 2 raised to m into 5 raised to n. Therefore, the decimal expansion is terminating. The third example is 17 by 8. Then for that, first we factorize 8. Correct? 8, 2, 4, 2, 2, 1. Correct? Then we write 17 by 8 is equal to 17 by 2 raised to 3. Then what is the prime factorization of denominator? The prime factorization of denominator is in the form of 2 raised to m, 2 raised to n into 5 raised to m. Is contain the 5 there? Is not have the 5 there, but We have the 5 with the power 0. Correct. Then we just rewrite, because we got it only the term of 2. So then after we rewrite this one, how to? 17 by 2 raised to 3 into 2 raised to 3 into 5 raised to 0. Okay. 2 raised to 3 into 5 raised to 0. So 17 by 2 raised to 3 is same as 17 by 2 raised to 3 into 5 raised to 0. അപ്പോൾ മക്കളെ നമുക്ക് പ്രൈം ഫാക്ടറൈസേഷൻ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ 2ന്റെ ടേം മാത്രം അല്ലെങ്കിൽ 5ന്റെ ടേം മാത്രമേ കിട്ടുന്നുള്ളൂ എങ്കിൽ 2 raised to n into 5 raised to m എന്ന ഫോമിലാണ് എന്ന് പറയാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഏതാണോ ഇല്ലാത്തത് അതിന്റെ പവർ എന്താക്കി എഴുതുക? 0 ആക്കി എഴുതുക. ഓക്കെ, ഇവിടെ ഇപ്പോൾ 5ന്റെ പവർ ഇല്ല, so I wrote it 5 raised to 0. In some cases, if you not have the 2 there, then you just add 2 raised to 0. Then now is very clear. The prime factorization of denominator 2 raised to m into 5 raised to n. Therefore, the decimal expansion is terminating. Okay, is it clear? That means is if you didn't get any one of this number here in the factorization, you just write that one is that one as the form of product with the power 0. Clear?